Just a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. So I'll share my screen. Everyone able to see my screen? Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, how many of you have like set up your Google Colab or VS Code editor or environment? Everyone, please raise your hand. Whoever have done the setup,
So
so
I
you
have the
can.
VS Code, but the Google Colab I could not do. I could not
Okay,
understand.
anyone is fine. Either VS Code, either Google Colab. Anyone is fine. So all of you raise your hands. People who have set and are ready to code directly in it. All right. So half of you have done it. Okay. All right. Then so others, what you can do is if you haven't set up it, you can try uh, like go through this particular instructions here on this website. If you go to home page, you have your beginner setup. You can follow these instructions and set up your VS Code and Google Colab. But for now, what I would suggest is that you open up a program as Python online compiler. Okay, so not JavaScript, but of Python. So you can select Python, you can go to online compiler and you get this. So let me share this link. So whoever has not done the setup can use this particular link, which I'm going to. So clear till now, everyone? Yes? All right. So just a minute. So everyone able to see the VS Code environment on the screen which I have shared? It would be better if any one of wait. So anyone who would like to volunteer and say or reply in behalf of all the people. Yashwant, will you do that if
Yeah,
possible?
yeah.
All right, thank you. So if you have the VS Code environment set up, what you can do is you can create a new file here. So create a new file and write anything. Let's say your name dot py, and let me just yep. So name dot py, okay, and you can create that Python file and you can start writing code. So first things first, what are we going to do today? So today we'll be learning the arithmetic operators, what all mathematical operations you can do in Python and how do you do that. Symbols. So in general, if you check, you have plus, you have minus, yes. And before that, I would also would like to ask that is my screen big enough or should I zoom in more? Yes, Yashwant, can you reply?
Yes, it's okay.
Fine.
Okay, this better. Okay, all right. So you have plus, minus, you have multiplication, then you have division, then you have also operators like uh, double slash. Also, you have double multiplication symbols here. This is known as asterisk. Okay, this symbol is known as asterisk. So first thing, how do you add two numbers? Anyone who would like to answer? Okay, all right. So let's say you assign a variable. So variable can be of any name, but there are some rules that a variable name should follow. You cannot name it one. It has to be alphabet alphanumeric in general, and it has other parameters also, that what all characters you can include in it. Okay, so for now let's rely on alphabetical variable names for now. So let's say x equals 2 and y equals 3, and now you want to print x plus y. So what you will do, you will write down the print method, and you will just put in x plus y inside. So x is the variable, plus is the operator, and y is the variable name. Now if you run this code, and how will you run it? What you can do is you can go to your terminal. So this is your terminal. On VS Code, it would look something like this. And I hope that you have opened a workspace or a folder and you have created this file. So it has to be inside that particular folder. If you are on Windows, Linux, or anything, you would be able to see the directories which you are in. So these are the folder names. So you are under the day1 folder and you are under the day2 folder. So you will be able to see all the files inside it and access it. So for this, you need to write down Python or Python 3, anything is fine. I'll write Python 3 name.py and enter. So you can see phi is printed in the output. So clear till now, everyone? Any doubts? Any doubts, Yashwant?
No.
Okay. Do you see any other doubts in chat box?
Right note, no.
Okay. All right. So here you have to do all of this. On VS Code, you will be able to run the Python file only on the terminal when you call it. So what helps us Google Colab is, it's a Python notebook, as in notebook. So you can directly write down code, you can run it, and you can check it. You do not need to run it in this particular manner, where you have to give Python or Python 3 as first command and the Python file name with the .py extension. So this all is not needed to be done on Google Colab. So that is better when you're learning. But why VS Code? So in VS Code, when we do programming, we usually do testing and stuff. We also want to see or run the websites. So what happens is, you will have a Python code here somewhere. And as soon as you run your Python code, there is something running on your system which you can access on a Google browser through some link that is only on your laptop, not on internet. It is only on your laptop. So things like that, VS Code helps you with that. Okay. So for now, we'll switch back to Google Colab now. All right. So Google Colab. So you can create a new notebook. And again, I am repeating, if you are not able to follow this Google Colab and VS Code instructions, then I would suggest you go through this setup steps. It is already there on your GitHub link on the home page itself, where you have beginner setup, and all setups are given. VS Code, Google Colab, and it is not recommended, but still you can try running Python code on mobile app. There are
Sir,
Play
just
Store
a
and-
query.
yes.
Means
Sorry?
we have to go to the HackerRank website and give the IITM mail ID for setting the account, or we have to do something extra also so that we can get the DBP.
Now, currently we are learning. I would suggest that you ask doubts about DPP and stuff later on. First,
Okay.
we'll be learning, right? So for now, we'll be learning this Python operators, arithmetic operators. Later, we'll handle doubts. So
Okay.
please do not ask doubts currently. Okay.
Okay.
Doubt, sir.
People who haven't set up, you can set up it from here. And later, for now, if you have not set up, just go through the logic which I'm asking you to learn. And later you can rewatch the recording, and along with that, you can code it after you are done with your setup. All right.
One doubt, sir.
Doubts, I'll take it in the end, even if it is academic. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So this is your Python notebook on Google Colab. And now I'll start writing the variables again here. So x equals 3, y equals 2, and print x plus y. So you can see the output, it is still connecting to the CPU. So first, if you are opening it after some time or it is a new notebook, it will take time to connect it to the compute resource. Okay. And here you can add down the code cell and text cell. In text cell, you will only be able to write or type down stuff as your WhatsApp messages. You won't be able to run the code. So for that, you have to click on code cell. And if you click on this code cell, all the previous stuff is still there. If this has ran one time, so it has already run one time. So now I can continue printing it. Okay. So now you have print of x minus y, let's say. You will print again, let's say you print x into y. Then let's print x divided by y. Okay. And let's print this operator. I'm not sure what it is. Let's explore it. Okay. And you're all right. So now let's run this cell. So now you can see here 5, that's as expected. 3 plus 2 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1, that is also expected. 3 into 2 is 6, that is expected. And 3 divided by y. So 3 divided by 2, that is 1.5. So here you can see this point, it has taken by itself. Then you have x double asterisk y. So what is this? Think of it. What would this result?
Exponent rate.
Correct. Is 3 raised to the power 2. That is 3 square. So here it is 9, correct? All right. And what about the last one? Anyone?
The floor division.
Gives division.
Floor division. So now what's floor division? The floor division, think of it like you are dividing 3 with 2 and then you are checking the integer part of it. So now let's say instead of 3 divided by 2 or else 3 divided by 2, that is how much? 1.5. But why it is 1 here? Because it is only taking the integer part. So from 1.5, it has removed the decimal part and it is only taking the integer part. Okay. And people who have switched on their cameras for different stuff, I would like that you please maintain the decorum, or else I would have to remove you from the meeting for this day. Okay. So this is floor division. Again, if I change it to, let's say 9, then what would be the answer? Anyone? Anyone? What would be the answer?
4.
4. So what is 9 divided by 2? That is 4.5. And 4.5's integer part is 4. So this is your normal operations. Now, what happens if I just put a quotation mark around this x plus y equation?
It would become a string.
It will convert into string.
Consider string.
Correct. Correct. So you know that this becomes into string and it would not do the operations. So if you want to run the inside thing as variables and as code, then you would have to give it without quotations. Now, that is not the only thing. We also want sometimes, let's say I don't want 7 to be printed this way, 9 minus 2, 7. I want to write it completely on the output terminal. Let's say you have x and y. So I write something like this. Something like this should be printed out on your terminal. x minus y is equals to something like this, where x and y changes as per the variable changes. So what I can do? So for that you have stuff like you have f strings. We'll come to that. Before that, you can also do it this way. Let's say I give x here, then comma. I open the quotations. I give the minus sign here as string. So what are the data types? You have integer, string, and float. Majorly, you have this three in numbers, correct? And in characters in general. So this is a variable. The data type here is integer. Why? Because I have initialized it with the integer value. So if I just change or give it a point here, what will happen is the data type of x will now change to float. All right, clear everyone? Thumbs up. All right. So how do you know what is the data type if you don't know about the variable itself, where it is initiated? So for that, what you can do is you can go print x dot d type. So what does d type do is that it will fetch the data type of this variable named x, and it will print that data type. So if you run this, okay, I have to call it with the
Use
okay,
only type. Type.
You written D type.
No.
okay, yes,
Use
okay,
only
okay,
type.
okay. Yes, correct. I wrote the D there, right? Correct. Wait,
It is
Sir, inside
yes.
type, you
Use
write
only type inside print.
sorry.
Don't you have to type
Use
the variable in the brackets for type?
One at a time. Yes, you're speaking. You can speak.
I was saying, can you not just put X in the brackets for type?
You are saying this is a way,
yes. This is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
right? So now you know here it is printing the type, which is type float. Okay, you have type of x here, right? So now next thing, how do I do this equation and print it in the same way? So you have x, you have minus sign as string, then you have y, and then you can write an equal to with double quotations, single quotations. For now, it doesn't matter. I'll come to when it matters that you have to put in double quotations or single quotations. So for now, using double quotations, and then you can write down x plus. So what it will do is it will print x, it will print minus sign, it will print y, it will print equal to sign, and then the summation. So now if I run it, you can see here it is printing it this way. But now you can see that this is printed as 9.0. Why? Because its data type is float. And here the data type is integer. But when you add them both, integer and float, the resultant data type will be float itself. That is why you have 11.0. All right. So this is one way. Now, what are the other ways to do this? So let me just comment out these lines. And other ways to do is one thing known as f strings. So you write down character f and you start with double quotations. For now, I won't say why double quotations. I'll come to that. Now I can do the same thing, but if I want to run it as code inside the f strings, I have to give it inside curly braces. So these are your curly braces. So anything inside this curly brace will be treated as code and it will be executed. So now let's say I type in x. So this particular character will be the value which x is assigned to. So I can say x minus y equals x plus 1. So now you can see it is the same thing, but now there is a difference. That here you do not have spaces. Here by default you have spaces because you have used comma. All right. Will this spaces change if I remove the space from here? Yes, anyone?
No.
No.
No, because it is by default joining it with a space as ending character. Okay. Now, second thing, if you want space here, then you have to literally give spaces here while typing. So anything outside this curly braces is treated as string and it will print it as it is. And inside the curly braces, it will be printed as variable or executed as code. So here it is executing x plus y, where x and y are the variables which I have defined here. All right. Now, second thing is, what if I want to do stuffs like I want to write a function. Let's say I want to write a modulus function. So what is modulus? Modulus is that you take any number and you change the sign if it is negative, or let it be the same if it is a positive or zero. Correct? So that's modulus. So modulus has this symbol. Modulus of x equals x if x is greater than or equal to 0. So greater than 0. And similarly, minus x if x is less than 0. So that is mathematical part. So now let's say you have a number x. Then how would you calculate the modulus of that variable? Anyone?
So ABS of X.
ABS of X.
ABS.
This is a default function, right? It is used by Python without importing any library. So now let's say I write, let's say here only I treat it as minus 9.0. And now here I take ABS of x. And here let it be x itself. What would happen here? Any issues here you are able to see that will this equation be true in mathematical sense when it is print on the output terminal? Yes, anyone? What would the output terminal look like?
Just
It would
gives the calculate. It just calculates the absolute value of x and not the whole solution. So anything that
9 minus
it,
2.
9 minus 2 equal to 7.
11. X plus
No.
Yeah, no, 11.
It is 9 minus 2. Okay,
Equals to
all right.
minus 7.
What would equal
7.
to?
Equal to
Minus
7.
11.
Minus
It will be 11.
minus 7.
7. It will be 7. 7.
Minus 7.
that
No,
minus 7.
7. Only
No,
7.
no, only
Positive 7.
Sir, only
11.
7.
minus 2 is equal to 7.
Minus
Okay, wait.
Minus 7.
Wait.
11.
Wait.
9 minus 2 is equal to 7.
Okay, wait, everyone, please. So look,
Guys.
x is here we did not apply the absolute function, right? So
Yeah.
here it would still be treated as minus 9 plus 2. So that would be minus 7. All right.
Yes.
So thumbs up.
Yes.
Thumbs up. No audio replies. Okay. Thumbs up. Okay. So here it would be printed as minus 7. And if I run this, you will see that result. All right. So be careful when you're using things like this. So ABS is a function default in your Python environment, which will return the positive value of a number. Now let's say what would
Sir,
happen.
on the left side, we are using minus and we are doing addition actually. So signs are different.
Yes. Yeah. Signs are different. Correct. But that doesn't matter, right? Still, both of the equations have no true mathematical sense, but it is outputting something on terminal and as you want it. Because here you're taking minus sign, you're telling it is subtraction, but in actually you're doing the addition operation. All right. So now let's do that if you want to, let's say, print absolute of a string data type. Okay, now let's say I give x. For now, let's just comment this out, and here I just give 5 feet. So this will generate an error because the type that ABS function takes in is only integer or float, that is in general number. So it will not process this particular thing. Now let's say what happens. Okay, this is the reaction of this ABS function. But what if I add a string and a number? What would happen? So now let's say I do x plus y. So now you can only concatenate two strings. So concatenate is joining two characters together. So now let's say here you had Python-Mania. And if I do x plus y, so here it would not say that plus is only for numbers. What it would do is plus, it would just concatenate these two strings. So it will join them both without a space or without any characters. So it will turn out to be Python-Mania. All right. So let's see that. So you can see here Python-Mania. And what is the data type of x? That is string. All right. So plus sign is not only for numbers, but it is also for your. Just a minute. Give me a minute, sorry. Sorry guys, sorry for the disturbance, but yes. So here plus is not only for numbers, but it will also join to character strings if the data type is string. But you cannot join string and a number. What you would have to do is you have to change the data type of a particular variable, let's say string to number, but that is not possible because unless it is a numerical number, otherwise it would throw an error. So let's say your x equals 2 and y equals MA or mania only. You can definitely change the data type of x from string to integer or float, but you cannot change it for y because here it is literal alphabets, but here it is number, though the data type is string. So now let's do that. Let's say if you want to convert this particular string into integer data type, then you will write the int function here and you will give in the parameter that is your variable, so x. So this will convert the data type of variable x into int. So let's say I reassign it. So x equals int of x. And now if I print type of x, and let's print it before this also. So you can see it is string and then it is an integer. And why is it throwing an error? Because at this particular point, it is trying to add two things where x has changed its data type to integer and y is still a string. Okay, that is why this line is throwing error. But now let's say, what if I try to change this particular string into integer? So let's say y. So it will throw an error because mania here will not change into integer or float data type. So this is intelligent in terms of Python to implement because some other languages do not implement this so easily. So here,
excuse me.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask a question. Like, we cannot change the data type of a string, but we can change the data type of a character, right? Like for only M. So I think it will change it to its integer equivalent.
You are saying it will change the data type now?
Yeah.
No, it won't. Okay. Still, it is treated as an alphabet only. It won't change it to its decimal value in binary. That is different case. Don't think of that. Okay. So it will only change string data type to a number or an integer or float data type when that string contains only numbers. That is 0 to 9. Okay.
Okay, so it doesn't change to its ASCII value, right? So
no, it
the
doesn't change to its ASCII value.
Okay. Only it's only valid for Python or any other language, because for C I think it changes.
That's why I'm saying, Python is intelligent. And sometimes this intelligence comes with cost of speed and other stuff. But that is again a question of programming, so we won't deviate. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now you have this types. Now let's say in the terminal you want to take input from the user. So now let's try doing a new task. Let's say you have A and you have B. A equals 0, B equals 0 or anything. And let's say you take the input here. So is this correct way to take the input? If you have done the course, anyone?
No.
You will have to print it. Yes.
No, I think you
we
have
have
to
assign a variable.
Yeah,
We have
assign
to take a variable.
You have to assign it to a variable. So something like this.
Yes.
Now,
correct.
Yeah, all right. So now let's do a guess that now what should I print to take the input? It should be A, B, or A. It should be
A, comma B.
A, comma B. And if I enter it, it is asking me to throw in some values. Now, how should I throw it? It should be 2 comma something or 2 space something or just 2 and 3. 2 and 3. So that is taking in first input. So the first input 23 is A and second input is for B. So now let's say I take 19. So it has taken the inputs and it has printed those. So instead of printing them, I can just take the inputs and try adding them. Now tell me, I ran this code, okay? Now, what would be the output if I enter AS4 and BS5 in chat box? AS4 and BS5. 45. 9. Okay, so I see some 9 here. Okay. Some 45s and 9s. Okay. So what would happen is that your input by default takes the value and its data type is by default string. What will plus sign here do is it will try to concatenate two string data types. So it will just keep the 4 character before the 5 character and it will print 45. So just a look, 5 and enter 45. Okay, so people who are saying 9, no, it's not 9. So whenever you see a variable 4 or a character, always ensure what is its data type. Only after you know the data type, you will get to know what is the plus operator here really doing. Okay. All right. Now, second thing. So this is how you take the input. So you just assign a variable name and just set it equal to your input function empty. And this will help you obtain the input from the terminal itself. Okay. Now let's say here itself you want the input to be taken as numbers or integer or float data type. So what you can do is you can cover this input function with a data changing function. So let's say you want to convert it to int. So you will cover this input function, you will pass in this input function as value to your int function. Okay. So now if I try to input any character, let's say H, it would throw an error because it is invalid for your integer data type. So this way you will be able to handle stuff, and you will be able to also prepare yourself that what data type you want that variable to be. So by default, input will turn the value into string data type, and if you want any other data type, just cover that input function into that data type. So now let's say float, and I'll print type of A. Now let's say I enter 4. So class is float. All right, clear till now?
This is known as typecasting, right?
Yes, this is known as typecasting. Whenever you change a variable's data type using this int, float, or string functions, that is str for converting any function into string. Then you have int to convert any variable into integer, given that it is correct for it to convert into that data type, and float. So this too is to convert only numbers, let it be string or integer or float, anything. And this is to only convert anything that is a number, a equation, or a character to string. All right. So these are 3 main data types currently. Now next thing what we can cover is, give me a minute. Yeah. So now we'll try to. Okay, people have please mute yourself.
Excuse me, I wanna ask something.
Can you ask it at the end, please? Doubts are taken at the end.
Oh, okay, sure. Thanks.
So now, till now we have discussed plus operator, minus, multiplication. Okay, what about minus and multiplication operators in case of strings? So now let's say you want to multiply. So multiply is repeated addition. So now let's say you have a character here, let's say p, and you try to multiply with a number, let's say 7. So what it will do is it will print this character 7 times. All right. So what it will do is it will print it 7 times. So you can see it is 7 times. So this multiplication operator, when used with string data type, it will just repeat that string that many times. So it will concatenate that many repetitions. So it is similar to adding the string 7 times. All right. So that is the case. We have also discussed division operator, floor division, and exponent. Now you have other operators, that is percentage. So what is percentage? So percentage symbol is used for modular arithmetic. So what is modular arithmetic? So think of a number, let's say 37. Okay. Now, Now if I say that 37 modulo 2, this gives you reminder, correct? So what is a reminder if you have forgotten? 2 into 8, that's 36, and 1 will be your reminder. So 37 modulo 2 is 1. So usually this is reminder, but in mathematical sense, if you talk about it, it could be 1, it could be any other number also. It could be 3 too. 3 is also valid, mathematical sense, because it is mod. In mathematical sense, if you write down, it can be also written as 37 mod 2. So this can be 1. It could also take value 3. It could also take negative value. So that is mathematical aspect. In programming, it will just be remainder. All right, everyone, clear? Thumbs up. All right. So this modulus operator, that is modulo operator percentage, will give you. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, all right. Moving back to the question. So now we have discussed all the operators. So this are
Can
the
you please
operators.
repeat this? Can you please repeat this modulo?
Yes. So look, 37 divided by 2 is how much? It would be in fractions, right? It would be in decimal value. So sorry, you are not clear. Can you please type in your query? Yeah, all right. So this modulus operator will give you remainder. So 37 divided by 2, it cannot divide it completely. So it is 2 into 18 plus 1, right? So you have 2 into 18 plus 1 equals 37. So what this modulus operator do is that it will take this remainder part and just give it as your output. All right. Okay. So clear, the person who asked this doubt? Okay. So these are your operators. All right. Next thing is that, look, today's DPT will mostly be based on these operators and your understanding of the code problem. All right. So second thing, next is a challenge. Let's say you want to calculate area. So what you can do? So you can have 2 parameters. You can have your width as input, and you can have your height as input. So height as your input. And now you know that you are calculating the area. So you want it to be an integer data type. So you will cover it into integer, or let's say float. Okay, for better understanding, let's say float. So you can just give in your width and your height, and you can then print area. So what you can do is, to make it look beautiful, you can print area is equals to width into height. Or else, let's say I write down width into height, and I run this code. So now it is saying that this is invalid syntax. Why? If you notice, previously I had used double quotations, but here I've used single quotations, and inside that also I've used more single quotations. So Python is getting confused that which single quotation it has to take into consideration. No, brackets is not the problem. The problem is that if you encode this in double quotes, it would act perfectly fine. Now what it will print is, it will print this whole string character, and then it will print the area value. So now let's say I run this 3 and 4. So now it will print it this way. That is why ensure that always it is best practice to use double quotes, and whatever you write inside you can use single quotes. All right. Now second concept is of special characters, like for example.
Sir, if we will not mention the float, then it will be the string.
Yeah, it will be a string, and it will not work well, because here you are
It is default.
Yeah, that is default. If you remove this float, then input will by default assign this variable with string data type. Okay.
Okay.
So that is why you need to pass in float. Now, next thing is that about special characters. So now let's say I print here /n. For now, let me just remove this. And let's say I just given the numbers. So now this prints this way. And let's say I print some like area calculation successfully completed. So it is something like this, and if I try to print this, you will see that this particular string is printed below. So what happens is that this /n will be treated as new line characters. So what it is doing is that whatever next things you have here, it will be printed in a new line. So if you want to escape, let's say, can you please mute yourself? Okay. So what you can do is that if you want to literally print this slash or a \n, then you can add one more /. It will inform Python interpreter that this particular thing should be treated as string. So now if I print it, it will be printed this way. So if you want to escape this type of special characters, that is even when you write it in string in f-string format, it is doing some work. It is being executed. If you want not to do that, then you can like write it after a \. Okay. Clear, everyone? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, all right. So this is about like your print formatting in general. Now, second thing, till now we are giving these parameters as variables, and we are doing some like we are printing stuff. What we can do next is we can look, if we do this, we have to again do this next time whenever we want to print an area. So what I can do is I can define a function. So now what's function? So defining is def ine. So that way, similarly, you will write def in Python and then write your function name. Let's say a type of mathematical function, that is f of x, let's say. Okay. So you have this f of x, where f is the function's name and x are your parameters. It could be one parameter, two inputs, or as many as you want. So now let's say I want to define a area function, and there will be two parameters. Let's say if you're calculating it for a square or a rectangle, there are only two parameters, that is width and height, correct? And then you write down a colon. So what it does is it is defining an area function, and whatever you write next after the colon will be taken as the stuff which it has to perform. So that has to be on the next line and with this indentation. In Python, indentation is very important because it will help it understand the code and it will run it that way. You cannot write stuff here like, let's say, width into height. This is wrong. It has to be indented. So now it is correct. So now you can assign it to a variable area, and then you can print stuff. So let's say I print your input height is height. So here I have to give that f character here. So this is f string formatting again. And if you do not want to do this, then what you can do is you can just write the comma, you can end it here, and you can pass in this variable height. This will also work similarly as this one. All right, everyone clear till now? Thumbs up and thumbs down.
Please repeat this one again.
So here I'm printing. Look, I want to print in the like on your output terminal that you want to print this. What is your inputted height and then the variable height. So this will print something like this. Your height is 4, for example. And similarly, if you want to do it with f string without writing in commas and stuff, you can directly use this. So you can encode your strings and your code in curly braces and double quotes. Okay.
Actually, I didn't get it about D, F, and last in F.
Okay, look,
What?
DEF is your define. You are defining a function. You are telling Python that I want to define a function. Define as an English word define. And this F has nothing to do with this F. This F we already discussed it earlier, right? It is to have being able to print the strings as it is and also the code inside it. Because if you just directly write in height here, it is not going to print the variable value of the height, right? That is why these two ways. One of them is this, that you give the variable outside it in the same order. Now let's say you also want to print the value of width. So your input height is height and width is width. So this same thing, if you want to write it in this format, what you will do is you will add a comma and you will write width is and comma and your width variable. So what it will do is it will print this in this manner, that it will print the string first, then it will print this variable, again it will print the string, and it will print this variable value. But if you want to do it in more sense, what you can do is you can use this single F and double quotes. So you can see this double quotes here, right? So this double quotes is needed, and inside that you can give your string character which you want to print as it is, and then code or variables inside the curly braces. Okay.
Oh, so both are alternative way.
Both are alternative ways, right?
Okay, thank you.
Now let's say I want to print area in a new line. So I'll give this new line character and then say area equals height into width. And similarly here you can do the same thing. You can have a new line character and then you can write area equals height into width. So something like this. Okay, all right. And now you can look, now you have defined this function. So what happens is now Python knows that whenever you call this function area and input these two parameters, it will do whatever stuff you have told inside it. So now let's say I want to access this function. So I'll write the function name and I'll give it the parameters. So width is 3 and height is 4. All right. And if I run this, it is going to print something like this. And why it is printed 2 times? Because we have given both the examples, right? All right. Here you have to also worry about the spaces. Here it looks a little bit inconsistent, but here it is consistent. All right. So that is why this is more preferred way to format or print strings or print in the format which you would like to see. All right. Now here the order matters. 3 is your width and 4 is your height. If you change them, see, look, initially it was 3, 4. So 3 is your width, so width is 3 and height is 4. But when you switch the order, the variables also change. So now height is 3 and width is 4, though the area is same. So here the order matters. But what else you can do is that you can give it the parameter name if you do not remember the order. So let's say height equals 4 and width equals 3. So this is also the correct way. But remember that this variable name should be exactly be present as same as in here. You cannot write like h equals 4 and w equals 3. Okay, this will throw an error. So it has to be exactly same as your variable names. So height and width. So now this will be correct. Okay, so now you can see height is 4 and width is 3 and the order doesn't matter.
Excuse me.
All right. Yes.
One question related to this only.
Yes.
So while solving some GRPAs for the previous week, I saw one arrow was given in the first line of the function where it was defined. An arrow, no, not like that. After the colon, yeah, after the colon.
After
An
the
arrow,
column.
yeah, an arrow given by followed by a data type. So what's the meaning
Yes.
of that?
So what it
Can
says
you,
that, yes, sorry.
wouldn't it be before the colon?
Will it be
The
before
arrow.
the colon or after the colon? Okay, that is the task which you have to find. But now I'll say what is the reason. I'm not sure that it is before the colon or after the colon. Find it yourself. But what is its meaning? So its meaning is that you have these two input parameters, and what should your output parameter data type be? So here in this case, your output parameter area. Here you do not have any output parameter because you have not written anything in the function. There is also a written line in your function. So that would become complicated. But for now, let's say I do written area. And I assign this to a variable, let's say area, or this a equals area. So what will happen is that whatever written type you are given, it would be a variable or whatever, you have to calculate it inside, which you have calculated here. And you know that width and height which you will be passing in, that would obviously be integer because you are doing a multiplication operation here, and you cannot multiply two strings. So here this will be the data type, integer or else float. So here you will have that particular data type which will be followed. So this arrow followed by the data type ensures that your written value is of that particular data type only, in case you have done any mistake while performing the operations inside the function. So
So
that is to
is it
maintain consistency.
okay? So is it necessary to write that, or it's
Look,
workable
it is
if we
necessary
don't
in
write
terms
it?
of consistency and understanding the code well, because
Oh,
sometimes it may happen that you wanted a data type of integer or float, but you end up returning a Boolean value.
okay.
Like
So it's
the
like a
motive of the
good.
function, yeah, it is
Yeah.
good because what you can do is you can have the motive here itself. You know the
Okay.
motive is this particular name. You have some input parameters. You can also define the data type. So now let's say I define it int here. You can define the data types like this. More detailed version of this particular explanation is already there on in your course, but this is the way. Okay. So I'll not go
So
deep
it's
into
like a
this
good
because this is not for
coding
today's
practice,
session.
right?
Yeah, it is good coding practice, but I'll not
Okay.
go deep into it today. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's your task to find that it is before colon or after colon. Okay. So now this function, you can use it directly, and we were on the point that the order matters only when you directly pass in the values. So if you pass in just 3, 4, then 3 will be your width and 4 will be your height. But if you pass it with the variable names which you have given here itself, then it will take it in that particular order. So order matters when you directly put in the values, and order does not matter when you give the variable name and write the value. Okay, clear everyone? Thumbs up. Okay, all right. So that's majorly operations and input, output, and F strings in general. Second thing, let's talk about Boolean logic. Boolean data type. So now let's say you want a Boolean data type. Let's say I do height equals. Now I forget about this. Now I write two variables. Let's say p equals 3 and q equals 3, and I print the Boolean data type value, or else I store it first. So result, I would say, of p equal to q. So what does double equal to and single equal to mean? So this double equal to is in the sense of your real mathematical sense, because it says that is p and q equal. If it is, then it will take true. If it is not, it will take false. And the single equal to in your Python means that you are assigning the variable something. So you're changing it. You're saying that yes, this is being changed to or taking the value of this particular value which you pass it. But this double equal to is checking the data type and the value, and it will return true or false. So now let's say I print type of R. So I'll type in type R, and then
Sir, I am having problem in the formatting string part. Like all the other concepts I can understand, but this f string, how to apply that, I cannot understand.
look, that's why I'm practicing formatting string. Like, what did I do? I want to print the type of the R and also say that this particular value is type of the R, and R is what? So I'll just print in R here. So what will this print it as? So let's say 3 equals 3 is true. So type of R is class Boolean and R is true. So we'll print something like this. So you have to imagine what you want to print it in the output set in your terminal. After that only you will be able to think of this f string. Now think of this. If I have thought about this, now I know that this particular value, true or false, it could be true or false. It could be the value which R holds. So this is the variable. And similarly here, this is also the variable of this particular R variable which you have given here. So this is the code which you want to execute. So whatever code you want to execute, you will be encoding it inside the curly braces. All right. Try to think of what you want to print, and in that printing sequence, where is your actual string or characters which you want to print, and where you want to print code or variables and its value. So here this is code which is being printed. So if I enter this, you can see. So yeah, this little different because still is the data type name. Okay. Clear? So when you think of it, yes.
Can you
Do you
explain
want
R
to
is
speak?
returning true?
Yes, R is true. That's what 3 equals 3, right? Here the value is also same and the data type is also same. All right. Only then it will be equal to true.
Thank you, sir.
So that's it for today's session. All right. And I hope that you would be able to do DPP well. Keep your
Sir, the
composure.
curly bracket R, how do you return true means P equal to Q? That is true. So curly bracket of any variable means the value of the variable. Like the notation, I am not able to understand.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Means when we in the formatting string we give a curly bracket over a variable, it just stores the value.
Yeah, variable or else code, whatever. So this is code, right? In this
Yes.
curly braces, you can give any Python code which you want to execute and print.
Okay.
Okay. So here inside this curly braces, R is being treated as your variable. So Python will find where you have initialized your variable. It will take in the value and print that value which it is storing. So it is not only variables, but it is also the function. Now let's say function or plus operator or anything. Okay.
Sir, could you
Now
please
let's say
just okay.
I print R here now. So look. So here this particular value is being printed, and then this type of R none and R is true.
How did print of R become none? It should be true only. Like R is storing the value true.
So now you think of it.
Print of r doesn't return any value, so it's none. That's why.
So it is not execute. So it is executing the code. It has to return something. So here it is returning a value, but print here is not returning anything. Why is type returning? So when you do type of something, it has to return something.
Okay.
But in print, it will only print in the output terminal. It will not return anything.
Okay.
It will
Okay.
return
Okay.
void.
It will
So
only
that's
print
why
the
it is.
console.
Yes. So whatever function or code or whatever you use in curly braces, it has to return something, and that return value is being printed.
So within
Okay.
the curly bracket, we can give any code that returns something.
Yes.
Okay, just briefly one or two more examples could you please give, because from the beginning of the course only I'm having the problem with formatting strings. Some codes were also based on formatting strings. The other concepts I can understand, but because there are formatting strings, I could not do properly.
Look. So area, we had defined that function, and it was printing something and returning something. So you can see that whole thing is being printed here. All right.
Okay.
So this is one more
Means
example.
whatever was the tasks of the function, the whole thing it returned.
Yes.
Okay.
So if a function which you're using, it is printing something or returning something, it will be printed as it is inside this F string. Okay. Whenever you do encode it inside curly braces. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Will we get the link of the DBP in the group itself?
Yes, you will be getting it in the group. You can also check your group description. Okay. And
Okay.
Karthik sir, can you follow up?
Yeah, thank you. Guys. Thank you so much,
And
sir.
just a minute. 1 minute, sir.
Just a second, and I do have another doubt regarding the code.
Okay.
We opened the code specifically regarding the area one function area.
Okay.
Just show me the code, and I want to ask a couple of doubts regarding that.
Okay. You want the code for area?
No, yes, the previous one. Show the previous. Yes, that's the one. No. Function.
No,
Area function.
it's not there yet. I have removed it, but it is there in kernel of the Google Colab, so it is taking in the value.
Okay,
But
so
what was your doubt, engineer?
okay, I wanted to ask you regarding that. Where when you wrote the area function, for example, if I write the print function and then I wrote the return zero value, return zero. So what will the function return, zero or else printed version?
It will also print the values which is being printed inside the function, and it will also return the value. That's it.
And if I wanted to, for example, if I call the function in a new way, like you did over here, like for example, I'm saying
Yes.
that
Yes.
area 3, 4, and in that function itself, I wrote that return zero, right? Then will it return 12 or else zero in this scenario?
If you are returning something, the function will return that, and if you have print statements, it will print it only in the output. It will not return it.
Okay, so the return value, if I were to keep return zero, then that means that this area 3, 4 will return zero, right?
Yes. Like for example, if you store it in a variable, let's say anything,
okay,
then this variable will take the return value which your function is returning. Okay.
Okay.
And don't worry, this all questions and the depth which you all expect will be slowly increased. This learning curve will not be steep. It will be slow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. And
Sir.
final.
Sir, just a final question. Means I am not yesterday I could not attend the session. And I am not able to create the account of hacker rank. I gave the IITM mail ID.
Yeah,
Could you just
that's what.
briefly tell
Coming
the
to
steps?
that. We are coming to that. Okay. Karthik,
Oh, sir.
Please,
sir,
we
one
won't be
question.
continuing with doubts.
Okay, that's
Just the
related to
hacker
VS
rank
Code.
account. Could you please briefly show the
Yeah, I
step?
will be, sir. Guys. I will be. Please wait for a minute.
Just a minute, Karthik. Should I stop the live stream now?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Or else wait a minute. We can discuss about hacker rank, Karthik sir. Okay, all right. That's fine for now.
Okay.